Distracted. So, my name is Tamisha Sewell, and I am originally from Independence. My family did live in Tulsa for a little while, so I had a chance to go to school there as well as here. So I've kind of experienced a few different school systems, so kind of have a good idea of what it's like in other places as well. My husband and I moved for college. We came back about 6 years ago after I completed my degree in Family and Human Studies with a emphasis on early childhood education, and we decided that Independence would be the perfect place to come back to because all of our family's here, and we wanted to be able to help the community by creating a quality. We have good child care here, but we don't have enough quality child care here in Independence. It's really hard to find daycare, especially for any child under 18 months. It's like next to impossible. So our whole goal was to get that care and help to provide that, and help also with the school system itself. My husband actually works for Eisenhower as IT there, so he's very aware of what's going on in the schools, and we have a nephew at the school as well, so we hear a lot about what's going on in the school and the community. Myself, like I said, I own the Treehouse of Early Learning. Simona's daughter was there for a while. She's so cute. Sorry, I get distracted by cute children. So along with that, I'm also the director here at Eclectic Art Gallery. We just celebrated our 2nd year, and as Amy pointed out, I'm also the co-chair of Astro Now with Jerry Hopkins from the library. I'm also a member of Sir Optimus and the Kansas Children's Service League. So obviously I'm very interested in participating in our community, and also, oh yes, Project Q&A, thank you. I'm on the fundraising committee for Project Q&A too. See, I've been so busy I forget what I'm doing. But I take notes. You gotta be very organized to do that much stuff. But the reason I decided that I needed to run for school board is because I feel that it's really important that the school board is working with the community as a whole, not just the parents, not just the students, but the whole community, because the outcomes at the school determine the outcomes in our community. We began to develop so early that it's important that we have things like preschool available for everyone. And then we continue that quality of education all the way through high school, and that determines the type of people who are coming into our community as adults. And so that has a real impact on not just the parents and the children, but the whole community, and who's going to stay here and seek work here, and how they're going to be involved in our communities. So I feel that it's really important to make sure we're preparing ourselves and having, people who are ready to function as a community as a whole. Excuse me. But also with mentioning the community, as Leslie mentioned, the library is a very active and important part of the community. In fact, right now during the summer, they host a free lunch program for students who otherwise might not be able to eat lunch during the summer, because these are children who are on the free lunch program during the year and can eat breakfast and lunch in school, but during the summer, there's a severe food shortage, and it's a real issue. But right now, we are not currently funding our library at the capacity that we really should be. And the district does have us determine whether a mill levy is raised or not each year to provide more funding to the library. And it's been, I believe it was 5 years since the last time they voted to increase funding for the library. And I know that they've had to figure out how to cut over $30,000 from their budget. And for a place that provides so many important resources for our communities, not just books, not just media, but really a safe place for a lot of kids who wouldn't have a safe place otherwise, we need to be funding that. We need to be, along with our schools and everything, of course, but there are times when they need somewhere to go besides school, like during the summer. So I feel I'm very passionate about funding for the library and for things like early childhood education. Of course, I'm a little biased on that, but 90% of your brain develops in the first 5 years of your life, really the first 3. And what you develop during that time is the base for when your brain starts pruning down to the most important things, into your social functions and things like this. So I feel what we need to do is, we have a great early learning program, the Riley Center. Unfortunately, there are a lot of children who don't qualify for that. But at the same time, there's a gap between parents who can afford to send their children to a private preschool and parents who qualify for the free preschool at the Riley Learning Center. So I would like to work with the community and see if there's a way that we can expand that or subsidize perhaps for families to be able to get preschool, because it is so incredibly important that we get to those kids and those families, because it's important when you're working with children of that age to work with the families and do what you can to help reduce trauma, because that has a permanent, down to the genetic level, effect on that. So we need to work with families from the very beginning to make sure that we're doing the best outcome for the child as a whole. So I'm obviously very passionate about education and early childhood. And also I mentioned trauma. One thing when talking, because I started my social media page recently, and some of you may have seen, I said if you could talk to a school board member about any issue you think within our schools, what would it be? And I was really just heartbroken to see how many people said that bullying was still such an issue. Sorry, close to home. I mean, we've had children killing themselves because of this. And I understand that we have a zero tolerance policy for bullying, and there's a good aspect to that. But what are we doing besides punitive reactions to this? What are we doing to find out the root cause of this child's trauma or whatever that is causing them to act out in this way? What's the cause of the challenging behaviors? What can we do to help the victims of the bullying, instead of just brushing it off and saying, oh, you'll get over it? Because you don't. It sticks with you. Some people are lucky and strong enough and they can get past that. They have a supportive family, but some of these kids go home and it's the same at home, So we need to see how we can work with the group as a whole and the bystanders that are involved. These kids see this and they don't know what to do because they're afraid of the bully, but they are conflicted because they want to help their friends too. So we need to work on possibly having a behavioral specialist come in and work with the different schools and look at some of the great examples of other school districts, because there are some out there that have done some amazing work to prevent bullying, to create a sense of community, because that sense of community and closeness helps reduce bullying, just like in adults. You see people go away to more diverse places and they become more tolerant of other people because they're living and working with these people. And it goes for the same with getting these children involved with each other and getting to know each other. And there's more studies and things, but and I'll share those on the Facebook page for you guys to read over. But I just think that we cannot truly educate children if they're in fear of going to school. Mm-hmm. And it causes anxiety and stress, and that's just one of the base of the hierarchy of needs. Is it's hard enough to make sure all these kids in such a rural, impoverished area are getting food and rest and safety, but then to come to school and to also be threatened and anxious about their environment, they're not going to be able to learn anything, which again has an impact on the full community. So I'm very passionate about trying to work with the families and the community as a whole to kind of bring everybody together to work on this issue. I know it seems just like, everybody goes through bullying, but it has gotten more severe and it is really a problem, and there's no reason for us to not want to be better. And that's what I want to do, is help make it better for all of the children and families involved. So thank you.